Hello, this is John Gerardi. I'm the executive director here at Right to Life of Central California. I wanted to make a quick little Facebook Live video to talk with all of you about the big Sunday editorial that was in the Fresno Bee, which was talking about the efforts in Congress that President Trump is apparently supporting to cut off about $500 million in Medicaid funding to Planned Parenthood, which is the nation's largest abortion provider. The editorial was really scathing about the Republicans' efforts and said basically, it makes two big points. One, they argued that there was no proof, they say, that Planned Parenthood has been involved in any kind of illegal activity relating to the sale of fetal tissue. And two, they argue that if we cut off this funding to Planned Parenthood, that the non-abortion services that Planned Parenthood provides, which are far less controversial, can't be met by other healthcare providers, and that this is going to hurt women. So I wanted to respond to this by addressing those two main points. First of all, to say that no proof has been discovered of Planned Parenthood engaging in wrongdoing relating to the sale of fetal tissue is to completely put blinders on to any kind of evidence, because a lot of evidence was presented that they were engaged in wrongdoing. First, from David Daleiden from the Center for Medical Progress, who had all kinds of undercover videos in which he recorded Planned Parenthood executives talking about how abortion procedures were being altered in order to obtain fetal tissue. Illegal, hugely medically unethical. The documents that he found in which the practice of Planned Parenthood clinics taking the bodies of unborn children, selling it to middlemen, who would then sell it to researchers and universities, how this was marketed to Planned Parenthood as a money-making venture. And that's illegal. Federal and state law here in California, federal law and state law here in California prohibit the sale of fetal tissue for what's called valuable consideration. So you can sell fetal tissue at cost, you can offset the costs of shipment and storage and things like that, but you can't make money off the enterprise. And David Daleiden uncovered lots of documentary evidence that Planned Parenthood clinics were making money off the enterprise, that the middlemen, companies like STEM Express, like Da Vinci Biosciences and DV Biologics, that they were making money off it by getting the tissues and then selling it to researchers. That's why the district attorney in Orange County is filing a civil lawsuit against some of those middlemen companies, and because saying that you guys broke federal law and we're going to seek a really punitive multi-million-dollar fine against you. And the fact of the matter is, Planned Parenthood has shut down all of these fetal tissue donation or sale operations in pretty much all of their clinics nationwide. And it's not because they're so confident that this is legal. Clearly, they're not confident that it's legal at all. That's why they're stopping it. So first of all, there is a lot of evidence that Planned Parenthood has been involved in stuff that is hugely unethical, and if not unethical, quite possibly, and beyond just being unethical, quite possibly illegal. And for the Fresno Bee just to say, oh, because it comes from a Republican source, therefore we're just going to close our eyes and not paying any attention to it, I think it does a disservice to the facts. Secondly, the Bee makes this argument that if you cut off funding for Planned Parenthood, you're not going to be able to help these lower-income women who are trying to get basic services. That's not true either. One of the things the article says is that if you sit outside of a Planned Parenthood clinic for an afternoon, you'll see that most of the women going in there aren't going in for abortions, they're going in for this, this, and this. Well, I have sat outside a Planned Parenthood clinic for an afternoon. A lot of my staff has sat outside of Planned Parenthood clinics for a whole afternoon. And one of the things we do when we sit outside those clinics is we have a little flyer. And it lists on there about 10 other federally qualified healthcare providers in Fresno and surrounding environs where women can go to get basic, low-cost medical care without having to go to a place that kills children. Okay? In Fresno, so that's just an example in Fresno. There's one Planned Parenthood clinic and zillions of other options not zillions, but a lot of other options for women to go to. So to act as though Planned Parenthood is the only place where women can go to receive health care is just not true. Secondly, the article fails to mention sort of an essential part of these Republican proposals to cut off funding for Planned Parenthood. Namely, so Planned Parenthood gets about $500 million a year in Medicaid reimbursements. So $500 million. That $500 million isn't just going to disappear. What happens is that $500 million is going to be diverted to healthcare providers who don't do abortions. So it's not, it's not like, okay, so perhaps if these Planned Parenthood clinics have to close down, which please God I hope happens, if these Planned Parenthood clinics have to close down or can't provide as many services, the fact is the capacity of other clinics locally is going to expand, and there may be new clinics opening up. So it's not like this $500 million is just going to go away. It's still going to go towards helping fund women's health care. It's just not going to go to Planned Parenthood, and that's the reality. This is what the B sort of fails to note when they say, oh, only, one out of some large number of people who go into Planned Parenthood are going in for an abortion. Oh, the statistic gets thrown around that only 3% of the services Planned Parenthood provides are abortion. It overlooks the fact that 86% of Planned Parenthood's revenue comes from abortion services. Okay, they are an abortion provider. Okay, you can fudge the statistics however you want and say that a woman who goes into a Planned Parenthood clinic on 5 different occasions to get an abortion one time, only 20% of her visits were for abortion. Okay, no, all 5 of them were for abortion. And that's the way that Planned Parenthood manipulates these numbers to say, well, only 3% of the services we provide are abortion. No. If you make 86% of your revenue is from abortion, okay, that's what's at the root of this. So, and people will make the argument also, well, the Medicaid funding that goes to Planned Parenthood, it's not for abortion. It doesn't pay for abortion. And that's true that it's reimbursements that go towards other things. It doesn't directly fund abortion. But the fact is that money is fungible, okay? If I get $500 million to do one thing, it's going to free up a lot of cash to do other things. For example, the thing that provides me with 86% of my revenue. So the fact of the matter is, Planned Parenthood is not a great organization. It's not a trustworthy organization. It has been linked with lots of bad things in the past, things like not reporting credible accusations of not reporting statutory rape. Now with the whole fetal tissue scandal, Congress has recommended criminal investigations into it. There are district attorneys' offices throughout the country that are already starting to file lawsuits and prosecutions against it. It's not an organization that's worthy of taxpayer funding, and especially when they're the nation's largest abortion provider. We have this kind of principle in America that's expressed through the Hyde Amendment, basically that, taxpayer dollars shouldn't fund abortion. Abortion's a controversial enough practice, and about half the country deems it to be morally wrong. And as a result, we shouldn't force everyone in the country to fund it. Well, that's essentially what's happening with this $500 million that goes to Planned Parenthood every year. So, we disagree really strongly with the Fresno Bee's editorial. If you want to spread the word about why it's wrong, like this video, share this video on your wall, talk with your friends about it, stay informed. That's a big part of what we're here for at Right to Life, is to kind of represent the pro-life view here locally in our community. So, that's it from me. Thank you so much. God bless, and I'll talk to you later.